Hello, everybody. My name is Darren Cheng, and I'm a third-year medical student from Tulane University School of Medicine in New Orleans, Louisiana. And before I begin, I'd like to first start off by thanking the University of Michigan for sponsoring this Diversity in Medicine conference and for inviting us to come tell our story. And so as you may or may not already know, there's been a widespread growing realization of the health inequities that have been affecting disenfranchised communities that's been brought to the forefront of medicine. And academic medical institutions have been attempting to address this injustice, with many of these efforts spearheaded by student organizations. And this is a story of exactly how we did just that at our institution. And so my presentation, entitled A Slam Dunk Towards Diversity, note that SLAM is actually an acronym that represents the nationally recognized multicultural student organizations that we have on our campus. And pictured here to the left is actually a mission statement that these four organizations wrote together at the time that this coalition was created. And so how did this all start? And so the SLAM coalition actually began around in the year 2020, and really it was due to a perfect culmination of events. And so it all started with a grand rounds that was sponsored by APAMSA, which is the Asian Pacific American Medical Student Association, discussing this dual pandemic of the overt and the overtly racist and discriminatory acts that were occurring all over the country against Asian Americans stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic. And shortly after this was the tragic death of George Floyd, wherein several student advocacy groups on campus organized a White Coats for Black Lives protest. And here you can see here is a picture of several students at this protest in support of this movement. And really after this first, just tumultuous first few months out of the year, it just seemed right, and it just seemed intuitive for the multicultural organizations, at least the nationally recognized ones on our campus, to join forces and present a united front of support for each other and for everybody on our campus. And that's how this coalition was birthed. And so SNMA, which stands for the Student National Medical Association, LMSA, which is the Latinx Medical Student Association, APAMSA, which was previously mentioned, which again is the Asian Pacific American Medical Student Association, and lastly, MSPA, which is the Medical Student Pride Alliance. The presidents and vice presidents of these organizations comprise the executive body of the SLAM coalition, and then it's further subdivided into the 5 subcommittees that you see here. And our mission here was to raise awareness and to educate our community, students, residents, and fellows about the healthcare inequities and the racism that exists within not only medicine, not only healthcare, but medical education, while also cultivating an inclusive environment for our peers. And how we did this was through a 6-part webinar series where we would talk anywhere from a range of topics, from microaggressions all the way to the history of medicine, and even further, the history of medicine within our own institution, that being Tulane, in New Orleans, in Louisiana, in the Southern United States, as well as just the overt and discriminatory acts that have stemmed from this COVID-19 pandemic. We'd average anywhere from around 100 to 250 individuals in attendance. At the end of each presentation, a survey was included to ascertain the attendees' overall satisfaction, the improved understanding of the topic, and future topics of discussion. And a lot of the forum that a lot of this was conducted over was through Zoom. And we'd get anywhere from around a 20 to 30% response rate. And here you can see these are actual direct quotes and testimonials from our surveys. And our submissions contain overwhelmingly positive reviews, both on the forum and the topics of discussion. And that really set a positive tone for future involvement and future implementations of similar forums and similar webinar series for the School of Medicine. And actually, my colleague Marcus Moses will be talking about an analogous structure and actually an analogous webinar program integrated into the medical curriculum that we plan to implement for all 4 years of medical students. And so with that said, thank you for your time. I appreciate everybody attending and listening, and hopefully you were able to see just how leveraging the multicultural student organizations on campus could help facilitate EDI education and EDI raising awareness at your own academic medical institution. Thank you.